Thank you so much, Trace. We are indeed going to be bringing it to you, and thank God I'm not a farmer because I don't have insurance on my barn.
Damn.
It's going to be a barn burner, Chad.
Yeah. Well, look, barns are pretty cheap. They're just made of wood.
It depends on where you're from. Sometimes wood's expensive.
We could probably build one pretty quick. What we couldn't build is any more hype for this game. Look, if you watch the first two opening games and you saw the upsets, well, there's potential for that all day. Apparently, you have to be able to prophesize the world number 2 losing to Simon Gaming.
Yes, in order to be a proper analyst.
Or to get the pick'ems right.
Yes.
But also to be a proper analyst. So
you're not allowed on the desk if you can't be
what title do I
correct.
get? Like a junior now? Am I a junior?
Well, I'm in the other hotel, so I'm junior talents. They didn't even put me in the same hotel as everybody else.
You're not far away.
It's new role, junior talent. You know how it is.
Closer to the venue. An attacker couldn't be any closer right now to Jax. Oh, well, I guess he could be, because Lucky's going to drop. Jax will get the trade, and now Bentet, he needs to find some consistent form, because this man right here was once the star of TYLOO, has to step up right now. Somebody will find Jax. Trades are coming on down. The bomb has been dropped, and Amanek eventually will go down.
Bentet wants to try and redeem himself inside of the stairs, though, having been a little bit slow on the first few shots. The problem is that Shocks and Kenny stand above. Bomb is still down below, however. So smoke off. They hold position.
Kenny just fakes some running away noise towards the A bomb site, which might force them to cover their flanks when this smoke dissipates. But they're opting to push further through connector and hold the bomb at range with these USPs. I love the decision.
Yeah, there's no sense giving it up, but also play a position that you're not compromised should the duels not go your way. They can play the corner, get the information as to which way they go. Door is still closed, so if that opens, even with the smoke down, could be indicative, rather, excuse me, that's a flash, a decoy, oh my. I've been decoyed, but not Freeman. Gordon or Morgan, doesn't matter, he's got 2 kills.
We never see the decoy really come out, especially in those kind of stages, so it's surprising to just get thrown on out there as a last-ditch attempt to get the CTs to look away, but lovely hold there and connector from TYLOO. G2 here, if you're listening to the desk, right, the skill that this team has when you look at Kenny and Shocks as just 2 individuals is huge. But then when you add in the addition of Amanek, who seems to have just become some glue to bring them together, it's so different of a team to when they had Body. Jax feels like he's more impactful. Lucky is doing his job. He's not necessarily lighting up the scoreboard by any means, but that was where we left with G2. Let's see where they're at now.
Shocks. Uncertain of the positioning right now of the CT side is backed away from Monster. They don't have any information as to short or construction, even with one player in the form of Lucky down below in connector, but instead they head toward long with the bomb.
Just to note, this is basically a full eco. Even with that P250 on the board, there's been no investment of utility here. They're just going to run around the map, pester as much as they can. That, bit of damage done, it forces utility out. And with 1 minute and 55 seconds left on the clock, G2 Esports, they want to milk as much utility out of TYLOO as they possibly can. Learn what type of weapons they have, because that's information they can take through to the following. Knowing that they have so many SMGs left, if you have that information as G2 going into the 3rd round, maybe you'll be a little bit more passive, because they might go for an SMG gamble stack, one of those pushy rounds we love to talk about. Right now, it will be a B finish.
Freeman, MP9, sprays in, finds 2. That'll be perfect for Attacker, who will get the next 3. I'm missing my typical Counter-Strike so-and-so wins the round noise.
Oh.
But
I tell you, TYLOO
won it. Yeah. There you go. Thank you, Chad.
Just to note, after we finished casting back in Shanghai, for the Star Series, was it season 7? 8?
I think it was 8.
Yeah. It's been a lot of tournaments going down.
I-Series season 8.
Okay.
Technically, I had the camo sweater on the other day.
Ah, that's right. Well, I was talking to Johnson, and he was no longer the coach at that point, going back to the airport, and he said that, they didn't really mesh well with wanting to play more of a structured style. Like, that's what he wanted to bring to TYLOO. Oh, can they... Oh, okay.
That's something they've always lacked. I mean, they're certainly mechanically gifted. We've talked about the Asian region being very mechanically gifted in all games.
Yep.
StarCraft, obviously, with micromanagement, and within most of the MOBAs, definitely within Overwatch, we're seeing the Koreans be pretty solid throughout. It's not any doubt that they have great aim and good mechanics.
Yeah.
It's always been the structure that's lacking. So the fact that they don't want to play with more structure is actually, to me, kind of disappointing. I can understand if you were a top team and you want to play a loose style, but when you've never had a good foundation, maybe you should take the time to learn it from a European coach.
I want to play devil's advocate in this situation. The problem is for TYLOO, they compete so sporadically at European events that when they do have the opportunity to come in and just grind 3 events in a year just trying to do fundamentals, could be a little bit problematic. If they use their flair, if they're constantly innovating and they're doing unique things, I would love to see that more because it keeps their players activated and they're presenting their own style of Counter-Strike. But right now, G2, they've worked the clock down to 40 seconds. They're working towards the A bomb site. They have enough utility to do a smoke wall towards Bank and CT spawn and Molotovs to follow. It's going to be the close smoke, so the SMGs may get an advantage around these.
Molotovs deep onto the armored car and also on the stairs. Summer plays between them. Smoke not on that side, which means Jackson Kenny had a great lineup toward the dumpster, and you can see the headshot immediately coming in. As a result, I take that back. It was actually 2 shots from the AK, not a single headshot, but Shox will take down Freeman. Bomb already planted. Attacker is likely not going to do so.
If he holds on to this, he'll be able to drop a gun over towards Freeman next round, and they can probably still scrape together a messy buy, right? They can do shotguns, they can do all of those kind of goodies. They can't actually get themselves everything they need to have a full buy. So we'll either see a partial upgrade here or we'll see them want to contest for economy control. We'll have to wait and see when we jump back in game. But if it was the TYLOO who don't want to play a defaulty, structured, European style of Counter-Strike, I would be leaning in the direction of maybe a force buy could be on the cards if they can get a couple of M4s on the board. Otherwise, a couple of scouts, a few deagles. It will be the buy, but they've gone for Famouses, 1 M4, an MP9, and a deagle. So they've really gone for utility in this round, thinking that's going to be the key to getting them through. This is... I think they're trying to run boost onto the light, because I know previously it was on Reddit. I think it was one of the Vici players, Savage I think it was, run boosted and did a bit of a pixel walk there. So I hope they're not aiming to do that one. I'm not sure where the rules lie, unfortunately. I think they already patched it.
They did, yeah, do some changes and patches in terms of boost options on this map, obviously.
Yeah.
That's been noted. It is the most innovative map in that way.
Strangely.
Yeah, there's been so many angles and so many creations, shall we say, from teams that it always excites me to see one that is successful. Even some of the old balloon boosts or the, over here from Flower Pot reverse spot. 4-man stack. Go back, obviously, Olaf. Ooh, Bintet with the MP9 wins out the exchange. Smokes himself off. Wants to run, but Kenny will not allow him to do so, knowing that he was damaged. Echo location. Yeah, the Olaf boost is the most famous one. I'm glad that one was fixed. That one was a bit much, but it's always cool to see some of the other ones come out and actually be successful. So when they patch them, I often don't know how I feel. Somebody feels pretty good. He's got 2. Kenny goes down. Bomb as well. AK available to him, but he'll stay on the FAMAS because Ominik's far closer than he thought.
Great round.
Originally, and it is a phenomenal round from him. He'll eventually get taken down, but his job done. Freeman steps out to get the trade, and TYLOO find their 3rd.
You can see how thorough G2 are being, right? We had 2 perfect examples shown to us there. We had Bentet's perspective as the flash came through. He still course-corrected and got the kill against Jax. He probably should have been traded for free. The second kill that came through, there was a flash towards, I guess you can call it, the front of the A bomb site, right? You can see that flash come through just to clear off towards the bin section. That flash was perfect. That should have been all G2 needed. Those 2 flashes alone gave them the opening, but their slow, defaulty style right now that is whittling them down to the last 40 seconds before they make a decision could be countering TYLOO's unpredictable, aggressive style. You heard Jacob say when he was speaking to Kenny S in the green room that they have to be ready for anything. And so far, TYLOO haven't been going hyper-aggressive and pissed around there in connector, but otherwise it's been pretty tame.
Shox. Up to no good. Lining up a personal smoke, a smoke for Monster. Which is thrown from the dumpster and spawn. That goes deep. That will cover off the position of Freeman. Meanwhile, Lucky boosted Windows connector, waiting to see if anyone's going to push out short from the CT side as a response to that smoke. No one has as of yet. And Shox proceeds to get much closer and clear out the angle so that they can split onto the B site.
Important to note, while this is all happening, they also threw a fake smoke onto the A bomb site, which has held multiple members there.
Attacker Does get the first kill, though. So with those 3 members still on the A side and 1 kill found, they haven't started the rotation, but they're not down to a single defender in the site. And now somebody's on rotation. Freeman already working the ramp angle. No smoke to cover off toward the bags, but a headshot in return is not uncommon. Somebody instead wants to sneak up. Bombs still not in position. Jax has it. He's just gotten to the backside of the pillar now, but needs to go a little deeper before he's safe to plant. Gap is there, jumping over. They won't get to him. Attacker held off. Somebody waits to bide his time. Smoke dissolving and dissipating. He's got to find Jax to his left. He just barely does. Realizes that he'd taken out his teammate prior, but it's Kenny S on the site instead. 3-on-1, Bintet's dead.
That was very curious. That's the first time I think I've ever seen somebody show restraint. Normally, when he finds himself in a position to thrive within the smoke, he will take the biggest risk possible. But there it looked like it actually waited for the teammates to arrive and then pick together. By the time he had actually made a move, everybody was already dead. So that's uncharacteristic early from that of somebody here. Very annoying player to play against. I had the pleasure of versing him multiple times back in some of the Asian minors. And that guy up close to smokes, jeez, gives me nightmares. More than normal anyway. As TYLOO.
They're still trying it.
Yeah. Look, if they can get it, that's going to be a fantastic position. That would have Connector basically completely locked down. So it's a one-trick pony though. Once you use that, it's going to be checked and cleared every single time. With these SMGs, CZ75s, this is where TYLOO may want to be a little bit more aggressive around the choke points. Pick up 1 or 2 kills, see if you can salvage an AK. But once again, this very thorough approach from G2.
So Attacker this time does take position in short. Little bounce flash for Lucky. That allows them to open the door. Attacker only good for 1, but the trade. Freeman, we saw him standing toward the sandbags. You see exactly why as the CZ75 finds the kill.
They're all there. Everyone's on the B bomb site.
Yep, the entire map. And the bomb at Monster can't rotate back. Word in the hands of Jax. An opportunity might have presented itself. Instead, though, somebody pushes out, able to trade, but that gives Kenny the information. Bintet the better play. 27 seconds, and Shocks will take the round with time aplenty.
Jeez, considering how chaotic that could have ended, TYLOO, they were the ones who got itchy. They had the number advantage, but they didn't have the information. So opting to push out short, that sandbag area, offered up some kills and trades, and that was more than enough for G2 to make the call to push in. And then Shocks, very lucky there to be able to finish off that final kill. It wasn't the standard Shocks one-tap style in these kind of situations, but the precision was definitely there. May as well have been 1 bullet. Technical timeout. Sorry, a tactical timeout will be coming through right now. Just talking through the options. I think Amanek is going to play such a huge role in this G2 roster if they will continue to find success. Him as a linchpin. His lurks, I think he's also been quite good in the clutches, and then when he needs to have impact, he can do that as well. So look towards him throughout the course of the Berlin StarLadder Major. TYLOO now on round number 7 will be opting to go for a full save. Have you looked at the top 8 returning teams, right, who are coming in to play in the Legend stage?
Yep.
I think it's like 4 of them are either playing with a coach, a player who's getting replaced, or there's rumors about them having a roster change.
Yeah, disappointing in some ways.
I think it shows that this system, though, is done.
You can't have the same locks. And I get what Valve is attempting to do in saying that, right. Technically, the major has begun when the qualifiers and the minors have.
Sure, which I like.
For those teams, certainly, they've started playing, but some of the teams who aren't yet here, the lock date doesn't necessarily work. You still have another week. You could boot camp with another player. Should they be allowed to bring them in? It's a bit rough.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Obviously, the rumor is KNG going to MIBR, right? Well, INTZ is here. So that means INTZ and MIBR, both of their appearances in this tournament are basically pointless because they won't be the same teams afterwards. Now, look.
Sure. And I heard KNG from them that they were considering it as well as far back as Chicago. So I can say there's some strength to that rumor. Whether or not they've agreed to anything, that's up in the air.
Amanek, I said he could be a linchpin in the clutch situations. Right now, they're using him to do something which was coined in Australia as a money man. You send a guy out with a gun on his own versus an eco. he can rack up the money. There was 2 iterations. You either go and you find all the bad guys, you have your teammates behind you to kill them all, or you run out on your own and you find the stack, or you find the empty bomb site. Well, right now, Amanex found the empty bomb site. He's forced the rotation. He's called his team over, and that's also signaled TYLOO.
Dominic, a little bit of a boost. Will spot it. So too will Kenny, though, because he's behind them, and the MP5 goes to work to win out the rounds through 2 kills of its own and then an assist, I believe, on the 3rd. But either way, success for G2. It's all. I mean, it is disappointing, right? The Major, we want to see the best possible Counter-Strike, and in some ways, the roster changes will lead to that down the road. That's why you make them. But
sure.
Yeah, interesting times certainly as well. The Sunny one, Sunny's been on the sideline for so long. That's a big risk for ENCE. Obviously, they went from being in the last Major final and rising to the top of the ranks. A lot of that during the AUG meta time. That's fallen off. They've fallen off. Whether there's a correlation there, a lot of people suspect there was.
Sunny will
They're
bring us some
trying to
firepower.
reinvent it. Exactly.
In-game leadership change, though, will be the biggest. Well, another thing to note here is no AWP out on the board just yet. We're 8 rounds into this game. Haven't seen it come up just yet, as the buy will be out, and it looks stronger if you look at TYLOO's. But a couple of things you need to note. No Molotovs left on the board. Only 1 defuse kit. And right now, G2 are changing the pace.
Freeman just waiting it out toward the sandbags. Somebody down below, M4 in hand.
Did good for the dink there, considering that opening kill. Great flash as well. This is teamwork coming out right here, but they're going to get pushed. An attacker in the corner, lying in wait. He will find the kill, and this round now looking very good for TYLOO as Kenny and Amanek are left to scramble. Still 45 seconds left on the clock, and Summer will eventually finish off that kill, but Kenny's been in the backlines this entire round. He pushed there early, audacious with the MP5, and now, well, there's going to be some difficult kills, even though he has the flank in his advantage, unless he can change to an AK.
That's the flank, but not the bomb. MP5, dear goodness me. Sounds like a paintball gun. Maybe it is a paintball gun. Bit of red on the wall behind. Certainly it didn't seem like the bullets were landing for him. And TYLOO get back to winning ways. So a bit of a game now, bit of a contest.
I'm wincing for him. Those situations hurt. I'm sure we've all played a game before, and you've had a sitter like that, and oof. Oof.
Yeah, I've had a few of those. Doesn't happen often, obviously.
You hit most of the shots.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. If I don't, it's the server's fault.
Normally, or a lot of people, are happy to blame the tick rate.
We take tick meds in my region. There's a lot of them, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
They did it.
They did it.
Hooray! It only took them, 4 tries, I think we caught? So this spot here is very powerful. There was a boost just up towards near this position where they were pixel walking, on a little ledge. But this is going to be the B hit, the bomb coming through Monster.
Freeman tagged up by another weapon on entry. Couldn't get much done. Will go down by Lucky, or it's the hands of Lucky, who now is perhaps exactly that. I was going to say not very, and that there's a Molotov down, but still, he's able to get his last shot over the wall in time to catch a second kill.
Huge nade.
Fancy Summer.
So they did the boost. They didn't even have a chance to use it. So right now, if you're Benta, your option is to save, and he's already clearing out his escape path here. He has a smoke and a HE, so we can always use that in case he does hear the door open. The money right now is obviously not built up for G2. Kenny has the most with 1950. This is a good place for them to start. Basically a contact play in towards the B bomb site, some good trades, some good kills by Lucky. And that was all they really needed. Be curious to see if TYLOO want to keep going for this boost, because it is such a gimmick, right? You understand why I say it's a one and done, because as soon as you see that guy up there, you're going to check that spot every single time. You can clear balloons first if you want to take control of connector that way. You don't necessarily have to go down the ladder and clear it out in that regard, but so far it does seem clear that TYLOO, that is a priority for them.
So G2 take the lead by 1. Money enough to buy on the CT side. Fancy Summer using both names. Remember, he did switch for a while. Summer on the HUD officially. There used to be a rule. Well, there still is, I think. Deva, remember, he couldn't change his name because once he played a Valve event, he was therefore registered as Device, had items in the game.
Yes.
I'm going to try it yet. Oh.
Come on, boys. I feel like you should have tried this a few times.
Yeah, maybe practice that a little more.
Yeah. I don't know what the difficulty level is. I'd say pretty high. And now it appears G2 with their formation, we can see if we look at the minimap on the top left, have gone back to the very slow default.
The other problem in that doing it and failing, you can see they don't even want to attempt it again because you're losing so much time and information.
Noise.
And you can get, well, that's true. Yep, it's certainly noise, but you can get locked into a position that you weren't planning on playing. So you kind of get forced into being aggressive in the connector, if you will. They've fallen back this time with good success. Bintet will play the bathroom. Second man shows, he finds that as well. Good drop off the bench. On the bench looking hench. Shocks, though, is sneaking in the back door. Lucky.
Wow, he's so unlucky that didn't connect.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's a lot of damage, and yet the last bullet could not find Attacker as he backed away.
That grenade as well, only 1 tick of damage. So Attacker down to 10. The CTs do have the advantage, and they have map control. Look right now, Attacker continuing forward on low HP. Shocks is aware, but Lazy cleared the corner, and that will be the bomb drop. Attacker not wanting to hang around to defend this one. 30 seconds left on the clock, and G2 have to start from square one.
Hang on. I've just clued into something.
Okay.
This is the map of the Major.
Oh, yeah.
It's based in Berlin.
Yeah, that's
and here
the TV
we are
tower.
in Berlin.
That's true. So you think this will be the most played map? We've already seen it twice.
I'm not going to go as far as to say that. I'm just saying that I am now going to go on a search of the town to find the location.
Okay, so everyone...
Probably not a real one, but I'm going to find it anyway.
Everyone can, I guess, follow Matt's social media to see Matt taking pictures with things that look like they're from Overpass in Berlin. As TYLOO win the round. 5-5.
I'll do it on my Instagram story.
Okay. Instagram's where all the hype's at today. Well, yeah, I guess. All right, well, this game hasn't had a blistering pace. It's not been hasn't really felt like a big punching match back and forth, but the scoreline keeps them at even pegging right now. I think one of the bigger problems for TYLOO is this is a CT-sided map. You might want to be running away with a bit of a lead. You might want to be finding yourself with, I don't know, maybe 9 rounds would be a good place to start. I think they've almost overcome this language issue now, Matt. You know, when they had Execute come in and Bentet was there in the infancy and in the early stages, we had the Indonesian. We obviously had different coaches there. Peacemaker was there. Jonta was there. The other players all speak Mandarin. And for those of you who aren't aware, Bentet and Execute, the AWPer who was on this team before the roster change, he was also from Indonesia. So there was a language issue, and that was the one that I cited as what would be the biggest for this team. So if they're able to fix that, then they can somehow work on their style. They've done it.
Oh, Chad, they had done it, and then you ruined
it.
it. You absolutely ruined it. He didn't hit the shift key.
God damn it.
Or control.
Doesn't lose too much HP either. There's only 10.
Yeah, that is actually one of the interesting things as well. It's one of the only run boost positions where you have the potential for destruction.
Yeah.
Nuke, I guess, outside if you want to throw a few there, but not as common anymore without the catwalk extending to the edge. The old Nuke, you used to have that. Jack's already inside of the bathroom. They've pushed the CTs back to the site already. Slow pace to the start of these rounds, considering where we were with Vitality constantly getting barraged on catwalk. In the last game against Simon, it seemed like most of those exchanges came in the first 20 to 25 seconds. This game, we're now well beyond that mark. 50 seconds left in the round, and we're just getting to the action. As the smoke goes down, they push through. Almanac finds one, but traded by Freeman, and the advantage now with TYLOO, as Freeman still plays at the barrels, swings for shocks, bomb goes down, 41 seconds, and locked out. Lucky gets boosted on the bags to try and see above the clouds placed in front of him. And I think Kenny's got a lot to do in a 1 versus 4. First shot reveals his position. He might just want to save the AWP at this point.
They shouldn't chase. They don't have a lot of money to give away here. And Kenny's the kind of guy, if you're going to take some combat AWPing fights, he will hit those shots. And I think that one has given him enough to think he might be able to get back in this round.
Unfortunately, he considers the barrels might be empty at this point and has to commit 10 seconds. This might not be wise.
Well, he's going to hide in plain sight. If he can make it... If he made it across, he would have just hidden there. That's a very unusual position for a T-sided player to be saving, considering we knew where all those other counter-terrorists were. I think an important note there as well was that cat molly that you saw come off from the sandbag position, it missed. It was meant to go. I think you might get it to see it. That one you can see on the ramp. That has actually made Shox's life a little bit more difficult because he can't go play close to that pillar to swing around and help. So a missed Molotov, a missed round, and now TYLOO are in the lead here. 6 rounds to 5 for round number 12, and we only have a scout, P250, a deagle, a flash, and a couple of Glocks. Nothing too exciting. Story of my life, basically.
We've all got a story, Chad. Fancy. Summer. One of the two. He's got the kill. One and the same. Bintet out toward the stairs. He's going to get taken down by Lucky, though. That makes problems much worse for Summer because he was relying on Bintet's support. Had to go aggressive. Didn't work out for him. Kenny gets the kill. We're back to a 3-on-3. HP still in the favor of TYLOO, but don't discount the offense. Bomb is in the hands of Kenny. He's got 1 kill already and has the AK to work with. Unfortunately for them, not the armor to go along with it. And only 2 flashes left in the round, so execution not really an option.
I think they haven't dropped Jax or Deagle or something. Kenny has a sidearm right now that he could be giving away. Obviously not right next to each other right now, but that could happen as we trickle down with 35 seconds on the clock now. The aggressive long push will be coming out. Here's the flash. This is Kenny's chance. He's going to find him in no man's land, and somebody drops. It's now a 2-on-3.
Kenny still getting closer. Upgrade to the op. They didn't go for the AK that he dropped, though. Interestingly enough, Jax still with the pistol. Was working in from the other angle. Could not get there. He has to work from the front of the bathrooms. Freeman, first shot success. Jax 13. He downed and leaves Kenny alone with bomb. 8 seconds. This time finds the first on the op. Oh my God, he's found the second as well.
That is what Kenny lives for. Those are his type of rounds. You love to see it. You can see the smile on Amanek's face. A little bit happy with how proceedings unfolded there. There's a great flash from Lucky. Facilitated the opportunity for Kenny to find that first frag. And then as soon as you put the big green in his hands, he can hit these for you every day of the week. 6-6. Back and forth we go. It's really not in. It's not in a fashion. It's kind of like that. Both teams are almost rope-a-doping, right? They're hitting each other, but there's no one's gone out for the fences. There's no haymakers being thrown right now. We've seen a few
Kenny
pace
stung
changes.
like a bee that round.
That's true. That's true. A few more boxing references.
Well, it was all Muhammad Ali. Rope-a-dope.
That's true.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
I've been listening to too many boxing podcasts lately.
And that's Joe Rogan.
I listened to a bunch of other ones
MMA
as well.
One more, but
Yeah, they talk about a bit of everything.
never really got into the whole boxing, combat, sport type of thing. Hockey has fighting. It's close as I get. Omenik with 2. Good execution toward the bathrooms after Kenny breaks down the economy, so they can take a 1-round lead perhaps on the T side. Was a bit like splitting hairs on the desk, trying to get a conclusion that G2 is the favorite coming into this.
Well, I guess people at home are a little bit scared based off of those. Not at home. Look, when you have 2 opening results, Dream Eaters and Simon Gaming getting upsets against those level of opponents, coming into this.
Psychedelic effect.
Well, we definitely know that there's been a player break, right? But most of these teams have had extensive boot camps.
If I'm not mistaken, G2 was, I don't know what the rankings are in terms of, you'd know better. I think they're not number 2 in terms of rankings, but they're
world number 8 right now, G2.
Sure, but I meant sort of the seeding, sorry, is the word I was looking for. But they are, I think, in most people's odds, if you will, the second highest rated team behind the other French team, Vitality, to go out 3-0.
Okay. If we check the matchups, it should have it for me just here. Where are we looking?
Didn't you program this website?
No.
Sharks will close out the round. Pretty straightforward at that point. Bomb down. Not a lot to work with on the CT side, so they do get the 7-6 lead. Back and forth affairs usually mean, well, with the current system, there's no reset in play, but it does mean that you're spending a lot of money, so you're going to be tight in these situations. TYLOO certainly discussing the options.
I wonder if putting somebody on the AWP is a way to make him play more passive as well in certain situations. I'm not saying that's always
too aggressive.
When you want to use him aggressively, you can, but the AWP inherently, you're going to be taking a few more passive lines on the CT side. You can go for your aggressive party picks. You can go for a monster pick. You've seen Fallen do fantastic stuff, aggressive sandbags, but I think, when you look, somebody used to be a B player on Overpass. I remember him doing lots of filthy plays, those nades, those Molotovs. Look at all that utility damage. Amanak's going to get 2 burnt alive. He'll continue off with 2 more kills with the SG, and on the bomb site will be Freeman.
Is it going to be the first ace of the major?
Oh, dear.
Amanuk trying to find it.
Let him have it. There's still 1:10. You can let him do this.
I say first ace of the major. I'm assuming there hasn't been one on the B stream yet.
We can check. I'll do that.
You do that. Statsman Chad.
Poor Freeman.
Yeah, I'm just kind of waiting to see what he's up to. He's being very passive. Shocks, don't get the kill. Don't get Kenny. Kenny!
Ah! Come on, guys. I'll have to worry about the stats later.
He was hunting. Oh, no, excuse me. That was Jax that was on the other side. I thought Almanac was over toward A hunting, so it wasn't like he was anywhere nearby, but he gets 4. You're not doing great with these stats, man.
Nah, I can't be bothered.
Torek is plus 17.
Too much clicking.
Game. Simon has the 2 top-rated players currently. I mean, look, there's been 2.5 games.
Yeah.
So.
We can tell you what's going on over on the secondary stream, though, North versus INTZ.
But it's one of those situations where you should screenshot it because it probably won't happen again. It was like when Renault didn't pit until very late in the Australian Grand Prix, and they were leading, and they were like, oh my God, screenshot it. And then someone else did, and it was big on Twitter because it was said Renault was leading, and they obviously weren't. Speaking of which, they sponsor Vitality. There, back in the room, sort of.
And there's a French team in the server, G2 Esports, and the scoreline is currently 8-6. We're in the final round of the first half here. And TYLOO, it hasn't really felt like they've been fully equipped the entire time on their CT half, unfortunately. A couple of mixed buys. They've had SMGs. They've never had full utility. Once again, we can see a UMP coming into the mix, 1 defuse kit, 1 minute, 10 seconds left on the clock, a handful of grenades. It's been problematic at best. Now, when we're looking at this situation right now, G2 have actually been very good with their flash work. Very thorough, very concise. There's been not too many fluffed issues for them. They've been cautious of all smokes. They know that Tyler are the type of team who are going to be pushing them, and now they're even going to be throwing a fake into the mix. So, hold up. It's not a fake. They're coming back. They've got the bomb. They've got 3 players long, and they're going to have 2 coming through party when Shox has finished throwing his grenades.
Single man on site. Somebody forced back. There's 2 forward players. Bathrooms with Summer. And I was going to say Bintet, but Lucky finds him first. Almanac swings around. Summer only good for 1. That's the problem when you lose not only the site, but your wingman. You're kind of left in no man's land outside of Bathrooms. 9-6 half. G2 stringing together a successive amount of rounds at the end. In fact, 4 to take the lead for the half. And we'll take a break. They are looking good, perhaps, to get us on course as we should be in this major. Big Bad Berlin, we get back underway. G2 9-6 up after completing a solid T-sided half against TYLOO. who will now look to turn things around. Perhaps run boosts aren't their best suit.
Yeah, could use a few more dry runs of that one right there. Or maybe when I learn how difficult it is, I'll be surprised they even were able to pull it off one time. Interesting to note, John, to the coach I was talking about, ex-TYLOO coach, noted that North versus INTZ, North actually decided to pick the side instead of the map. I think that's quite a cool thing with the way the vetoes work. You, as the higher seed, normally get to decide how the veto goes, and North choosing that the side is more important for them.
Well, and it's interesting because they would know the matchup and have studied against INTZ, knowing the seedings, knowing your first match. We heard it as well coming into this, that G2 were certainly ready for TYLOO off the start of this tournament. They've had a week to prepare for that matchup. Point I'm making is if they have a similar map pool, side might be more important.
Exactly. Yeah, there's all these little details here which go into the game of Counter-Strike. And maybe teams can start employing what OG from Dota are doing with all those mind games. I don't know if you've caught any of the international.
I have not, unfortunately. I've been quite busy shooting various episodes of Let's Go Grassroots and crashing mountain bikes and race cars and breaking ribs, but that's all right.
Mildly problematic. But right now, TYLOO have a bunch of grenades here. We can see 2 smokes and 3 flashbangs between Summer and Freeman. This forward setup in the connector from G2 means that they can swarm any of the bomb sites. As you can see over towards B, right now they have Jax who's playing a retake. He's jumping, he's jump spotting, he's got grenades of his own. His grenades, his smoke, his flash, and his HE, will be used to slow the push towards CT. They just want to keep them contained to the site.
Smoke deep to the pillar.
See what I mean? That keeps them away from Sandbag. It allows this free rotation. Look at this!
Ooh, that's not ideal for the bomb plant. Second smoke deep, and it looked like TYLOO were baited into it. They thought they were safe. Oh, thank you for that smoke. I'll go plant. But then the rotation, the flank. But then Bintet. A hat trick of frags, and we're back to a 2-on-2 Shox, trying to sneak back in and steal the round in the favor of G2. He has found the first kill. Bintet left with 15. We talked about aces, and perhaps the first of the major. He needs one. At this point, bomb to be planted. They're going to strike while the iron is hot. And Bintet burned. Amanuk the kill. 10-6.
Well, I love that round right there from G2. It was well thought out. They had multiple game plans, right? When you do those situations, you know what map territory you're giving up and how you're going to deal with it. In that situation right there, it was quite clear that they wanted to give up the B bomb site and have that smoke come down as an avenue for them to retake from sandbags. Teams have had that strat plenty of times before, but not with that smoke usage. So I like that little detail coming out from G2 here, and it's going to be hard for TYLOO to fight their way back into this one. Their decision has been to pick up an AK-47 in the hands of Bintet, who did have quite a lot of money after that round concluded. So it is a bit of the hero buy, but one kill can get them a FAMAS, an MP9, an M4 would be great, and a number advantage. So let's see if Bintet can wield this bad boy to his star power, because as an individual for this team, before he started taking over in-game leading, he was a superstar in his own right.
There's a lot of superstars that have had moments within Counter-Strike.
Well, let's just say he's the superstar of Asian Counter-Strike. We'll leave him in just that region.
Sounds good. I like it. What's your favorite constellation?
I'm going to have a look up.
It's hard when you're depressed. Bintet's not going to lead the way. It's actually Freeman that goes around the corner first. Thought Bintet would be the entry, but the Deagle sufficient as Bintet then finds Kenny Summer onto Shox. Forced by. Successful? I would say so far that's the case, and likely the result as well, as they're already backing off to save. So TYLOO going to respond 10-7.
There's those free guns I was talking about. They picked up 2 M4s, a FAMAS. They don't need anything else. Let Lucky and Jack save. You don't need to hunt right here. And the reason I say that is because maybe G2 Esports will be forced into a false sense of security that they can just force buy behind these 2 guns, right? They're going to only get the $1,400 loss bonus right now, which means that Kenny, Shox, and Amanek are probably going to think to themselves, we may as well buy because we have to take a double eco. But if you can do that and then you don't find Lucky and Jax again in the following round and you let them save again, they can find themselves in this cycle of just constantly buying behind the weaker weapons. That's something which I remember when Threat took over coaching of NIP, something that they were doing fantastically well, was letting teams save guns to bait them into going for more buys. I'll see if TYLOO want to go for a similar option here. They have such superior weaponry, it's not even close. 2 M4s, that AK. They can upgrade to another AK-47 in the hands of Amanek, I suppose. Right now, sorry, not Amanek, Attacker. Both teams have players with A's. Who would have thought? It's a pretty popular letter. Starts the alphabet.
It does start the alphabet, at least in our language. It's not even a letter in TYLOO's language.
True.
Somebody spamming short. Not often you see that, but uncertain of the position on the other side. And knowing he's likely against much lesser weapons.
They haven't gone all in here either, Matt. They've just gone for pistols. There's no Kevlar behind it. Shox has a flash as well, but you can see how much money Kenny's holding onto here. So he wants to get the AWP up as quickly as possible. It won't be in the next. The trickle-on effects should be seen in future rounds. This looks like it wants to be some B presence right now. We're seeing some smokes and Molotovs towards A and connector, but the bomb is in the backyard of the B section right now.
Summer's starting to work out. A bit more confidence, clearing out A side of the map, connector, both respectively in bathrooms and the stairs, and then a single smoke fake toward A. Flashes go deep on toward Monster. Rotations required. Summer. Jack's down. Summer a follow-up and a third. He's looking extremely sharp so far in this round. He'll find Ominuk. Bintet steals the way the... Come on, man. I just want one ace, all right?
Maybe it's already happened and they know it.
That's right.
And we
There's
don't.
no point anymore.
Yeah, all the players already know. We just haven't been let in on the memo yet. All right, well, we got the round timeline up right here. It's a bit blank right now. Maybe we'll fill it in later. But this is where we should see another save come in from the side of G2. We can see light pistols again because some of those players were a little bit more conservative. Flash out and about can always cause some havoc here, and they are going to go pushing towards long. So we can see 4 players marching down long here. Meanwhile, TYLOO, well, they're going B. So this one here will not be a meeting of the minds. Bintet, however, might have a chance to go for that ace you were talking about, Matt. He's just in connector right now. He'll be probably the first person to deal with this flank if it comes in. G2 Esports can opt just to go for exit kills, hold on to these USPs, don't allow them to farm any more money. There's nothing they can really gain from this scenario. The fact that their little trap didn't work, they couldn't flash pounce on anybody and try and cause some chaos. Right now, they're in a position where best bet, get a couple of exit kills or don't die.
Not dying is certainly something everyone should aspire to do within their life.
Mainly on the CT side. On the T side, you need that loss bonus.
True enough. Fancy. Just going to wait it out. And it looks like they'll round the corner, so he should get a lineup of at least 1 or 2 before the pistols aim back in his direction. Attacker's there as well. Summer's down, but Attacker steps back out. And round gone. Freeman confirms it with kills before the bomb even went off. G2 still with the lead by 1, having not converted the pistol round.
Just to note on both teams, the scoring, the fragging has been relatively equal. I don't think anybody is leaps and bounds above anybody else on each squad. So this isn't a game of having to carry around dead weight. Somebody has the least amount of kills in the server at 7, but it's nothing to really be too upset with when you look at Attacker on 12, Bentet's got 11 to his name, Summer has 12. So this is a very team-based game of Counter-Strike that both are displaying, and I think that's shown in the nature. Quite respectful, slower than we'd usually see from a team like TYLOO. And G2 as well. They're not being as rushy. They're not being as quick, you know, to get stuck in. They're actually, the T side, we're taking it quite slow. Very thorough default. Okay, this is a classic somebody position. I remember him playing this on the T side. On the CT side, it appears that he's been moved around a little bit, but the T side, he still gets to do his little roll. Getting him out to this position very early gives the Ts a lot of control and a lot of information. Once you've taken control of that dirty water and you have the connector control, you have a chance to do fakes throughout. From this point, you'd love to see them take balloons, get bathroom control, and from there, the map, they can decide whatever they want to do with it.
Minute left in the round. Bit more pre-fire from Shox through the wall toward the door. Somebody sits in wait at Cubby to hear or respond to anything going on at B. Meanwhile, they'll get some information toward the A side of the map. Summer's going to rotate back through the stairs.
They're about to get the info. This is going to be a B finish. That push right there towards connector coming in is going to be absolutely huge.
And he's already there. Chalks is behind them, so rotation's back over. Chalks, clean lineup, easy shot on Bintet, and Summer stepping back out, suffers a similar fate bomb. Still waits outside of Monster, having gone down in the hands of Attacker. Almanac on Freeman, resounding round from G2. All 5 still alive, and it looks to end that way. 3 seconds left. Somebody needs to survive. No one close enough to do anything with it because they're going to rotate around from short. So he will at least keep the AK, but 11-9 now in favor of G2.
Yeah, and that upsets me that he kept that AK, because if you look at how much money that his team had in the bank, if he had had 1 or 2 kills there against that of G2, he would have given his team a massive advantage going into this next round. But by holding on to his AK, keeping his stat line not looking as poor as what it possibly could, he didn't take a risk. And I feel somebody is the player that has to take some risks. It was somebody left last alive, right? I'm not reprimanding him for no reason. So you can see here the money on the G2 side is not built up. They obviously had to reinvest into nades on this side, but think about how much lower that would be if they had to rebuy armor and rifles. Somebody could have had a chance at stealing away one of those. Early, we will find a pick through Monster.
It's a good point, and oftentimes players don't think about the counter economy, the opponent's economy enough in those situations. You just think, oh, I'm in a 1vx. I've got a gun. I'll hold said gun.
Sure.
So hopefully at least he was thinking of that, but I think ignorance might have been the better part of it. Shocks fires in through the wall. They are going to head that direction for a boost, and fair enough.
It's double nades here.
Oh, it is going to be double nade. Okay, so they're trying to counter towards sandbags, but that's a risk when they're already firing through it. He
Jax took 1 damage.
Yeah, double nade, 1 damage. I'm not sure I love that. I think it would have clipped the edge of the board.
Yeah, we might have to see it. He was also moving down to Monster at the time, so maybe just a timing issue, but still, big risk by going up near that board and pushing out into somebody's hands. They will find the opening here, so G2 being able to stabilize here. 2 huge openings, but there's still threats from Monster.
Not quite. Bintet has 1, but the rotation's already there, and they surround the site entirely, so Freeman doesn't have many options. Yes, the threat existed, but it was not a big one. 9-12, G2 still having the lead.
This will be TYLOO's last full gun round, as I would consider a full gun round. They should be able to get up all the AK-47s, the armor, all the nades they need to do whatever strat. You can see that Bintet and Summer here are discussing what they want to do. They don't have a coach, ladies and gentlemen. There's nobody behind them. I think, and Peter, can you confirm, are they the only team?
Peter from HLTV.
I guess we just need to get the bat signal up in the air. You'll probably see that too.
Yeah.
But is this the only team in the major without a coach? I would think it is.
Well, there's certain teams playing with a coach.
That's
or did Zeus get registered as a player in time for them to have Dead behind them?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Or is Zeus technically in the coaching role?
That's a great question, Matt.
Yeah, that's another question.
That we'll find out the answer to, sure, I'm sure, as well. Because Dead behind them, he would add a lot of
motivation.
Yes, for sure.
But not so much a coach per se. I'll narrow the scope of your question. Are they the only team uncircumstantially without a coach behind them?
There you go. I love big words.
I don't even know uncircumstantially. Circumstances aside.
Freudian slip there. Are you thinking about getting some surgery done?
Well, I'm okay. I'm good.
All right, well, as we mentioned, this is probably the last-ditch gun round for TYLOO until they have to take a bit more of a save. They still have 3,800 on Freeman and 2,450 in Bentet's hand, so plants could mean more mix buys are possible. But as you can see here, they are going towards long, and Amanek is currently waiting on his own, but I think a flash will be coming his way any second. There's 2 more players. Shox is now creeping in his direction, and Kenny is overlooking. This is a potent trio down long right now.
Freeman waits. Almanac walks directly into that. Flash went high. Almanac perhaps would have been better suited with patience. Tried to get flashed out by Shox in return, who now sits in the corner. Freeman.
it's bad info in a way as well because he didn't see anything. You know, he didn't even get them enough info. All they know is Freeman's holding the tree and there's 35 seconds left on the clock.
Kenny blind. Shocks knew where Freeman was. Based on the Molotov. Kenny not so successful this time as Summer attacks and Jax has to work back out behind the default box. And a third through the smoke. What a job from him. 18 seconds. Somebody trying to recover the bomb. He can still book it to B. I don't know that he makes it from here. I don't think he does. He doesn't. It's over. Round's done. That's huge from Jax.
Oh. The problem is he had to go the long way. He didn't think he could make it the short way. And if he had just enough time to plant. But here, unfortunately, I thought he was going to get taken out there. He will hold on to the SG. Krieg could be instrumental in the upcoming round here. But G2 have looked like they've stabilized now. They're looking confident. They're starting to hit some very good shots. More individuals are showing up here. Lovely from Jax. So you can see right now, they will be able to get the buy on the board. Freeman and SG, somebody with one of his own. 2 AKs and then Summer with the MAC-10. Maybe a pace change. We haven't seen anything fast from TYLOO just yet, Matt.
Well, they may have converted the 4 spot and got momentum, but it's since been taken from them. Jax and Lucky pushing out to find respective kills at short. 5 versus 3. Nade goes over. Somebody takes 5 damage from that nade, which was ages away, as opposed to the double nade, which did 1 damage 2 rounds ago.
I'm sure if we slowed it all down, it would all make perfect sense.
Everything makes sense in the virtual world. So boost for Shocks, Jax down below. He'll play such an angle to his work off of Shocks' information.
He can peel off this very well.
Summer's going to walk into it, but somebody behind him had the Krieg, and I presume was scoped at that range to find the headshot. But as I said, Jax could play off the information. He does that. Kenny finds the kill, and round gone. Bomb not planted. G2 with number 14.
What are 2 Gs?
Good game.
There we go. And we're almost there because now we can see Attacker piping up. I think it was just there. Discussing through what the options could be. Always with a supportive Flash, G2 have been in this matchup right now, and that's what I've been loving to see. They're not really taking too many risks with picking corners dry. They've been doing it as a unit, and team-based Counter-Strike is what it's all about. Kenny now going aggressive, 14-9. Let's see if he can find a freebie here, as it will only be a pistol upgrade coming in from TYLOO. They will be conceding, or at least the decision has been made to potentially concede round number 15 and have to fight back to give themselves overtime. Just a reminder for everybody here, this is a best of 1. Second set of matches. Or second set of matches. We're still in the first round.
We are indeed.
We'll have more best of 1s in the second round later today.
Today is best of 1 day. Come on, Kenny.
Yeah, just shoot him through the wall, Kenny. We can see him.
Yeah, why can't you don't see that giant X-ray, Kenny? For those of you who might just be joining because it's a major and there's a lot more hype around it, they cannot see that. I think that's explanatory, but
that's just for you guys at home.
That's right.
We let you in on the secret.
Yeah, it's the Eli 5 version of Counter-Strike.
As G2 did in the first half, TYLOO are taking an eco round very slowly to bait out utility and hold up a second.
Stunning shot from the Deagle of Summer. Kenny falls, but Shocks does not, and that actually takes the aggro away to allow Almanac to slide out. Map point for G2.
I was going to say, because they did something earlier. Benta had that AK, they hit that Deagle shot, and then they snowballed onto the site. Kind of saw that happening again, but this time they were able to stabilize. Now they're just 1 round away. 5 more kills, or a bomb defuse, or actually 0 kills. They're 1 minute and 55 seconds away from winning their opening game. I think what can happen as well here, obviously we had those 2 CIS upsets to kick the day off. But if everybody else, all the other favorites win, with this format, in theory, everything should stabilize. And we'll go back to normal programming. Aggressive nades over towards the playground area again. Will be met with a smoke. And TYLOO, they want to push the issue over towards A. couple of cool things on the HUD, Matt. I don't know if you see, but like with the smokes, for example, when they first land, they're more colorful, right? And then you'll see them like
fade away.
Yeah, like in the middle on,
Like
on
my
the smoke.
career.
Okay. Well, I
on.
thought we were doing
Smoke,
the
yep.
therapy session later.
That must. No one told me. But is that an intervention?
That's content, apparently.
Okay.
All right, this is going to be. Surely this is an A piece. They've taken all 5 members over towards this A bomb site. They're trying to get toilet control now. Flashes will be used, and Shocks is pushed up close and personal here, just on the other side of that divider.
Shocks.
He's calling for a flash. Look at it. Watch his mouth. There it is.
Well, the counter flash goes out. He steps wide, nearly spotted the second player on the bench. Ominok, however, will stay in the corner on the creek and couldn't find the second. TYLOO come out with 2 instead. That's exactly how many members are left on either side, but Lucky's alone on the site. Needs to play this smart, passive, patient, because the flank is on arrival. Jax, he'll get Summer immediately. Somebody's left with 20 HP. Bomb went down in that time. Jax has a kit. If he didn't, there was one on the ground in front of him anyway. As he pops the flash high, knowing well the AWP has headed toward long. Molotov as well, and he's so low he can't face it, but he takes the peek. He didn't need to. He could have actually held that.
He had no way of knowing how low somebody was in that situation. If he had known, sitting that defuse, getting it done, round on the board, G2 win. But somebody who has been struggling in this game didn't wince under pressure right there. I thought he was going to crumble. I thought, considering some of the situations we've seen him in this game, that one wasn't his to win, but big round there. TYLOO stay alive. They took a partial buy or pistol upgrade to fight for overtime, so let's hope they've got enough T-sided struts in the books here to give us an interesting one. Pack rolly style, man. That's what they should do. This team, if they fall one, scary. Scary bunch of players. They snowball off of each other very well. The way that TYLOO have always traded, even though it might not look necessarily by the book, they get it done. And they get it done in their own way.
Shocks will reload eventually, surely. Depleting his ammo through plywood as if target practice, but actually looking for someone on the other side. You
can see how much more transitional G2 are than TYLOO were on their CT side.
Summer, ooh, missing the shot. Kenny will not. Fire between the 2 targets. Kenny.
They cleared him this time.
Absolutely did. Bintet's got Ominok down. Kenny's relocated again, trying to find that angle. Smoke in front of him, but bomb going back over toward B, and somebody wants to make contact straight through the monster tunnel. Jax.
What's that rush?
Freeman, somebody responds, but Lucky gets the cross bomb dropped for a moment. Shocks catches somebody out looking for it. You're right, perhaps too much of a rush in the air. I thought Bintet had a chance at it, but 16 to 10. They'll grab the win. G2 and put us back on perhaps the course we should have been on from the beginning, Vitality.
Well, we left the maps in the hotel room, so that's why we're off script to start the day. But yes, G2 looked very patient, and I think that's important for all teams going up against TYLOO. If you're going up against an unknown quantity with extremely skilled individuals who can pop off and have a game of their life, the best way to deal with them, thoroughness. Smokes, flashes, Molotovs, use it all. Make their life difficult, and this is a good start from G2.
Good start, exactly what they need. Again, they'll take the first one of the 2 French teams. Certainly there's got to be a bit of a rivalry between the 2 of them to get out of this portion of the major as quickly as possible. For TYLOO, regroup, reset. Again, Swiss system, seeded all the way through, so they'll have an idea who they'll play toward the end of the day, but I think that's more what we need to expect from G2, certainly from the op of Kenny looking consistent, not as flashy, but consistent in that game.
Yeah, and that should be the foundation, because if they start here and they finish with Kenny dropping 50,
yeah,
great. You know, let's start with this. Let's have everybody contribute. Let's have everyone doing their jobs, and once it all works, then you can throw in the spice.
I was impressed with Jax, by the way. Normally, the name I say probably the least of anyone on the G2 team.
Okay.
In terms of me doing play-by-play, and therefore revolving around kills a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I just don't see that impact as often.
He does a lot of anchor work, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's fair because there's lots of players that don't get credit in that role, such as Fugly was someone on the CT sides that was similar. But this game, he certainly stepped up. He was also dynamic. He was on B and A quite a few times, rotating quickly. So that was good to see from him.
Well, he normally, like on a map like Dust 2, he takes a lot of liberties with pushing long. He's a bit more fluid on that CT side. But here, yeah, good impact from him. But we have Sue down on the floor with an interview.
Thank you very much, guys. Congratulations, Kenny's. You guys start off with a victory in this first best of one. TYLOO is actually a team that you played earlier this year at the last major at Katowice, but they've made some changes since then. How did this TYLOO feel compared to the last one?
Well, the game style is pretty much the same. They like to play aggressive and together on some certain area in city side. We know that, so we actually try to counter their aggression at the beginning of the round. As long as we see that they don't aggress, we've just tried to be like methodical on the zone taken. Yeah, I mean we played good and clean. We played together, and that was enough. I mean that countered the game. So if we play enough, if we play together with the right flashes, it should be all right.
Let's talk about the mindset of G2 headed into this recent player break. G2 has had some sort of hot and cold results, namely the second place at ESL Pro League Finals, but also a little bit of top 6 places in between there. So headed into that break and, of course, the boot camp, what was the mindset like?
Well, for us, Chicago was more like an accident. We knew what was the problem, and the problem was probably like in the approach of the game. But we didn't necessarily got super depressed about it because we had a lot of positive back then. And we try to focus on the positive and to obviously fix our weaknesses for this event. We had a super intense bootcamp. Was quite short, like 5 to 7 days, but super intense. So yeah, I hope it's gonna be the grind will be showing here.
Whenever people talk about G2, your name is always, of course, brought up, and people always talk about how if Kenny's is activated, then G2 looks, unstoppable. Personally speaking, when you play, in what situations do you feel like you are able to play to your best?
If I knew that, that would be much easier. But yeah, I think I'm doing the work, and the work always paid off. So you just don't know when. You just know that it pays off as soon as possible, but we have a good balance in the team. The team is super good, so I don't have that much pressure on me, to be honest. I used to have more in the past, but now I'm just like, yeah, I can have a bad game, so I'm just trying to be patient with myself. Our coach is a lot on us. Sometimes he can be super mean, but that's his job. So he made us better players, he made me a better player, and even though I don't have necessarily the best game, I know that I have a lot of input in the team, especially in tough situations like clutches and stuff. My experience talks pretty much. But yeah, I mean, I know what I'm capable of, the whole team knows, but the good thing with this team is that everyone is pretty homogeneous, so that makes a difference. Nowadays you don't win with one player.
Well, so far, at least, G2 is looking great. Congratulations again with this first win under their belt. And with that, we are going to be right back, but stay tuned. When we come back, it'll be Furia taking on Hellraisers.